السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم Sheikh.
Salam to Allah wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, how do you think Islam can reform the society?
This is a good question. Islam has a great role in reforming the society. Even in the very stories that have been narrated, can prove that. Let's go with the story of Jurayj. He's one of the righteous people among the people of Israel. He had, we call it, I don't know how to call it in English, but in Arabic, Sawma. Sawma is a devoted place for worship. A small place in a corner.
Like a small temple.
Yeah, well, I was hesitant to use the word temple, but anyway. And so there was a woman. He's well known to be a righteous person among all the society. And a woman, a prostitute, who was gorgeous, very beautiful. She was betting with people. Can she seduce him, corrupt him or not? So she was saying, do you think I can corrupt that for you? Let's try. So she offered herself to him. He refused. So she decided to retaliate. She saw a shepherd, and he went into her. She had a child. Once she delivered the child, she was asked, where did you get the child from? She said, from Jurayj. They came to him. They demolished his temple, and his case was addressed to the leader, to the king, she say. The king was asking, are you the father of that guy, the shepherd? He said, no. He said, but this woman claims the opposite. Oh, I forgot to mention something before that. Jurayj was a righteous person, and he was praying while his mother was calling him. Ya Jurayj, Jurayj, what's wrong with you? Answer me. So he was praying a voluntary prayer. And he was hesitant in his prayer. Shall I cut off my prayer, responding my mom, or shall I continue my prayer? So as he was in that hesitation, his mother said, I wish that you do not die before seeing the images or the faces of the prostitutes. Prostitutes. So that was a supplication. I know we're not going to discuss whether this is good or not. Usually we say, as the Prophet said, do not supplicate Allah against your children, knowing not. You may coincide a responded hour, a moment, that Allah may respond your call, which may not be good for you. But this woman supplicated Allah. And it seems that it coincided, a responded moment. So she was responded. She was heard. As they took him to the king, and the king was asking him, is this child yours? He said, no. He said, but this woman says the opposite. She says that you've done something to her. And as a result, that's the baby. The man said, bring the baby. He held the baby, and he was inspired by God to ask the baby, oh child, who's your father? Then the child spoke. And in Islam, we believe that there are two people that spoke in the cradle. This child, or three. This child and Jesus, Isa, the son of Maryam, and the people of the ditch. There was a child. It's another long story. People of the ditch. A woman, a mother, that her child spoke to her. So this is one of them. The child said, the shepherd is my father. What do you expect people to do now? People, they said to Jurayj, we want to reconstruct your temple. By what gold? By what silver you want it to be built? They want to place it with gold or silver. He said, no, just return it as it was. That's enough for me. What are the benefits of this? First, righteousness. The man was addressing himself to Allah, and his mother was calling him. That shows you how important is the matter of righteousness to one's mother. And that scares people, warns people from being unrighteous to their parents. The man was not busy with his children. The man was not busy in anything else but standing before Allah and performing the prayer to Him. The other reforming element is what? Is also abstaining yourself from corruption. Who is he that can possibly refraining from an attractive woman who may come and offer herself to him? So Jurayj was known person to be ascetic, caring not for life. These are 2 or 3 example benefits of this story. We have many. The Prophet had detailed to us many stories regarding the people that had passed before, people of Israel.
Sheikh, inshallah, we'll go to a short break.
All right.
Inshallah, we'll
Okay.
come back. Okay.
Yeah, another issue is, for example, a man entered paradise for one thing that he had done. He saw a stumbling stone that shackled people and confined them from taking their way. He said, I have to move it away from people's passing by. It's hurting the people. Then he moved it. As he did, the Prophet said that Allah was so grateful to this person to the extent that this very kind of action was enough for him to go to paradise. So doesn't this fix the society?
Of course.
I mean, we pass by, for example, by people who are harmful people. Okay? So the Prophet, he said, don't sit in the midst of the roads. Don't change the passaging of the people as places of assemblies. They said, oh Prophet, there's no other way. This is the only place where we gather. He said, well, if you have to do that, then give the road its due right.
So basically, we as Muslims should, if we saw like harms in the passing way, in a street or in a road or whatever, even if it's not a Muslim country, it's a duty on us to clear that, blockage, basically, right?
Based on the moral, which is a statement of one of the prophets, it is moral to us. He said, "In uridu illa al-islah ma istata'at." Okay, I'm intending nothing but to reform as much as I can.
Right.
Well, that may lead to the question: if I'm using the water and I'm not in a Muslim country, is it okay to keep spending the water, just let it pouring like this? The answer is no. Why? Because the Muslim, by nature, his methodology, his way is to be a fruitful person, a positive person, and a reforming person. Even in this very act, whether to spend, to waste more water or to economize water, that is also consistent in the matter of in uridu illa al-islah ma stata'at. I'm intending nothing but to reform as much as I can.
Right, Sheikh. So, in concern to society, what is the alternative? I mean, people would say, okay, we've been hearing about, everything about Sharia law and we're cutting hands and they think this is Islam, when it comes to society. So what are the other things they see or they can know that Islam can offer them in their own society, which is better?
But before I give you the answer to the question, also I remember something. There's a man that the Prophet praised. That man, when the Prophet Muhammad was alive, he lived in Yemen. The Prophet was in Medina. I don't know how much far is the distance. Maybe let's say 2,000 kilometers from Medina to Yemen, possibly, presumably. So the Prophet said, there's a man called Uwais al-Qarani. He's in Yemen. He has spots of leprosy on his skin. He has a mother in whom he is righteous too. If anyone among you saw him, let him ask him to seek Allah's forgiveness to him. Amazing. After the Prophet's death, Uwais came to Medina. And the second leader, Umar ibn al-Khattab, he knew that this man, Uwais al-Qarani, he came to Medina. So he said to him, are you Uwais? He said, yes. From Yemen? He said, yes. From Qaran? He said, yes. He said, you have some you are leopard. You have some spots of leprosy on your skin. He said, yes, that's me. He said, ask Allah to forgive me. Now, the point is, why Uwais did not come to Medina when the Prophet was alive? The only thing that stopped him from coming to Medina and enjoying living with the Prophet is the sickness of his mother. She was sick. The Prophet was revealed by Allah that there is a man in Yemen who's righteous to his mother. And that's what made him so close to Allah, to the extent that the second caliph, Umar, was asking him to ask Allah to forgive him.
SubhanAllah.
So why didn't he come to Medina in the lifetime of the Prophet? The sickness of his mother. Doesn't this show the importance of being righteous to your parents, which is nowadays, as I believe and I know the situation here, they have a big problem about how to control those children, how to accustom those children on being righteous to their parents. They could do a lot of things. They could colonize countries, but they can't do that. Islam can.
Okay, so I think the question would be...
Yeah, the question, getting back to the question.
Yeah. No, I mean, even on that topic, on that note, how being righteous to your parents will be something good to the society, one might ask.
Oh, it is. It is. The point is that when the individual is good and we succeed to produce, I mean, this is the whole issue about, is how to be righteous, and how to produce righteous family, and the righteous family will also be making its effect on the whole society. When this house is good, the other house is good, and all the houses are houses of righteousness, then what do you expect? The whole society will be reforming.
Right. So Islam basically is telling us that if you're good to your family, the upbringing for these, sons and daughters will have a good morals and good mentality to build a good society.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so Sheikh, can you give us a little bit of alternative to what we see today? So we know the Western secular society, and we say no, Islam can give us something better. What are the things that Islam can give which are better?
Returning to balancing fixing the imbalanced situation economically now. For example,
Right.
Islam is based on prohibiting riba, interest, and ordering zakah. Those two cooperate in narrowing the big gap between the poor and the rich. When you oblige giving the zakah is the right of who? It's the right of the poor people. That's the right. So, as one of the natural consequences, when you don't give the poor people their due right, you have to expect theft, mugging, attacking banks, etc. You have to expect it. People are hungry in a way or another. And those rich people, their richness incites them to be more ambitious and to take advantage more and more against the poor people. I mean, the richness is on the account of the poor people. While in Islam, if you're rich, so those poor people are waiting for you. Their right is in your credit. You understand that?
Yes.
Their right is in your credit. You're responsible for that. So these are two examples about how to reform the society. I'm talking about from the economical point of view.
Right.
As for the other things, the other issues, such as how to avert the society from fornication, from all of that. This is also important, and there are many alternatives. We've been told, every prohibited thing, there is an alternative allowed. So for those who are not married, there is a different punishment if they fornicated than the married ones, because they can't afford marriage. While those who afforded marriage and they still fall in fornication, their punishment is greater. How to avoid? Sometimes by stories, just like the story I mentioned to you, telling the story of Yusuf. It's an amazing one. It's really amazing. How the husband of the wife, who was the king, how Allah made him able to discover the reality that Yusuf was innocent. Islam prohibited the means to the fornication, and if the fornication is prohibited, then the means of the fornication will be also prohibited, such as lowering your gaze. Keep yourself away from the corrupted areas that may affect you, affect your faith. Your faith is very important. You don't dare to walk at night having a diamond in which you show it to people, shining, and keep walking in the dead of the night in the marketplace. You may not be saved for even 1 hour. I don't expect that. So you should not be subjecting yourself, to this corruption. That's why Allah said in the glorious Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believers that they should lower their gazes, وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ, and they maintain their private parts. So if people do that, they fear Allah, they know that Allah had prepared hell for those who disobey Him, turn away from Him, and Allah is preparing paradise for those obedient ones among Allah's servants. When you think about the hereafter and what Allah prepared for those servants what Allah prepared for them as great rewards. That would help much on making the person try to conduct more patience more and more. Also, there's a way of intimidation, okay, and temptation. Temptation, encouraging the person to do the things that will cause him to be in paradise, living in paradise. And there are some intimidations. That means warning from the what fornication will be causing. It will be causing the day of judgment. There's the lively punishment, and there's a hereafter punishment. As for the lively punishment, if you did not care about the prohibition of the fornication, as a result, your children may fornicate as well. As they say, fornicating is a debt that you take, and in which you have to pay afterwards. Afterwards, you have to pay. So, therefore, when a person remembers this and what Allah prepared for those people in Jannah at the Day of Judgment, okay, a perfect woman in beauty, they never fornicate. What should I say?
Virgins.
They're virgins, and for each one, there are two at least that make his life happy. And those women there, they're much different than those women here. It's a perfect life. So if the person with the mind that Allah gave him, okay, with the rectitude that he has with him, he can differentiate between this life and the hereafter, and try to show patience, because patience is rewardable in itself. Whether Allah had given you what you're asking Him for or you did not, okay, you'll be in both cases rewarded by Allah. So, riba is forbidden, zakah is obligatory, fornication is disallowed, lower your gazes. I think by this a society can be reformed and changed.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Subhanallah. It occurs to me when I see people running, jogging, taking care of life. We should also remember that we should be taking care of the hereafter. Because this life, we were not created for it. We were not created for it. You like it, you see the greens, the delight, but you were not created for it. This is a place of travel. And even if you take a break in your travel, you know that you're taking a break. You're not living here. You're not staying for good, because you have the zeal to get back home. So the place where you take a break is not your home place. Therefore, this is a station. This whole life is a station. We should be caring about the hereafter. I love to quote this ayah, where Allah the Almighty said, من كان يريد العاجلة عجلنا له فيها ما نشاء لمن نريد ثم جعلنا له جهنم يصلاها مذموما مدحورا. Whoever desire this worldly advanced life, we will give him his due reward in advance, as much as you want. But soon we will let him be in hellfire. But why? Only because he desired this life? No, God did not only create this life for you, but He said to you, in this life you should not, it should not be your utmost, your final wish, your final abode. God created you in this station. He wants you to understand that this is a station. If you're not happy with the word station, look, You're gonna die. You should not be sad or angry that you're gonna be taken from this life. This is system. Don't think that you can get out of the system. How many billions upon billions they passed by this life and they died? Whether they like it or they don't like it, it's something over their will. It's a system. We are systemized. The way we live. If you're not happy, don't take oxygen. Don't take oxygen. Don't breathe. You're in the system. This is what you have to know. You are in the system. You are submissive to the system. So why don't you be submissive to the creator of the system? Simple logic. Simple and logic. Then Allah the Almighty said, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ. Allah the Almighty is saying here, beautified to people the loving of lusts, loving of women, loving of treasures, loving of horses, loving of so and so and so. Then finally Allah said, قُلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِخَيْرٍ مِّن ذَلِكُمْ. Say, shall I tell you, inform you about something better than this, than all of that? لِلَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. For those who feared Allah. What do they have with their Lord? جَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. They'll be admitted to gardens upon which rivers flow beneath. What else? وَأَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. In Islam, we believe that أزواج مطهرة means wives, but always purified. I think you understand what I mean by purified. That means there is no period of times where they have period of something. Period of times. They have the period. There's no period. See if they're not, if they don't have the period here, what would be attracting you to find something better than that? Women who are purified from this period. وَأَزْوَاجٌ مُطَهَّرَةٌ. They're always ready, always pure. There's no 7 days in a month. No. They're always ready and pure and more beautiful, much more beautiful. There's no way to compare between the gorgeous one in life compared to those who are in the hereafter. This will be pushing encouraging, motivating people for thinking always about a better life than this life. Why do you have to care about this life more than the endless life? Why do you have to prefer the ending life over the endless life? Are you wise? Saying this because, there's a burn in my heart. Producer, cam man, are you with me? There's a burn in the heart that people say, oh, I'm happy with that. That's enough for me. What do you mean that's enough for you? Are you happy with the greens? A certain day, you're going to be under those greens. Under. Doing not. You're going to be stinking. You're going to return as you were, dust. So what will... No more significance for you. We want you to be significant. Even after you die. To be significant. Uh-oh. We have... Did you see that? Beautiful guest, huh? All right. Oh, what else other than the beautified woman? وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. And a pleased God upon you, who will be saying to us at the Day of Judgment, you have a promise with Allah that you will always remain healthy, that you never get sick. You always remain young, that you never get old. You always get happy, that you never become sad or grieve. And that you always remain alive, that you never die. How many things? Are they 4 or 5? I think they're 5. 5 things. Shouldn't they remind you about something better than what we see today? The pleasure of Allah is greater than all what people collect. As Allah the Almighty said, وَرَحْمَةُ رَبِّكَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. And the mercy of your Lord is ever better than all what they collect. Allah gives this life to those whom He like, and to those whom He doesn't like. But He does not give the hereafter except for those whom He likes. That's all. He gives life to those whom He likes and to those whom He does not like. But He doesn't give the other life except for those whom He likes. So be one of them. But if you see the person is turning away from God and he's getting what he wants, I think it may not be good for him. As if Allah is saying to him, enjoy life. That's what you intended? That was the limit of your goal and intention? Take it. But you have no portion of the Day of Judgment. Therefore, we've been told by the Prophet that this life was touched with what people hate. Yeah, the edge, it was edged by what people hate. Paradise. But hell was edged with what people desire and like. I'm not talking about desiring beauty, desiring nature, desiring what Allah allowed, permitted. No. I'm talking about trying to achieve so-called happiness and pleasure in the wrong way that Allah did not permit. So those people, in a matter of fact, they don't know that they're getting closer to hell when they follow their desires and disobey Allah. But they don't see it. This is the problem. They do not see it. They are short-sighted. Can we fix this? Should we go to Vision Express to extend their sight? Optical shops to fix their short sight? No. It's because of the desire. Their sights became short. Look, the Prophet put a stick here, and he put another stick close to it. And then he put a very distant stick, a third one. Then he said, this is man. This is his death. And there is his wish. Death comes and intercepts all their wishes. You have long wishes, but death comes suddenly and stop it. So there's a moment which will be stopping you as a human living person. And the end of you will be in the grave. But being in the grave is not the only big problem. No, there's a bigger problem. You know, if we die and that's the end of us, wow, that would be easier. There are many people who commit suicide, thinking that that is the end of them. No. The problem that we have to be resurrected, and we're going to be asked about our response to the prophets. What was our response to the messengers when they invited us to Allah the Almighty? Muhammad is the final messenger. If he was a liar, Allah won't be letting him deceiving people. He had revelation. He had something. There's a book. We want you to read it and find out if it really sounds that this is something from Allah Almighty. If you say, I don't care about that, I'm happy about my life, but this happiness will not last long. Suddenly, you have to die. And don't think that we're talking about death which may which may be preceded by 40 living years. Look, there are many young people who die. You think that you may be dying after 20, 30 years or 40 years. There are people who thought the same thing, and thousands of them daily, they're dying. So take note of this. Every life among the two, bottom life and the upper life, each one of those two lives, it has its own sons, followers. So, to which world you want to belong yourself? The beneath one, the bottom one, or the upper one? You can take your choice today. You can take your choice. No one can force you. But you're responsible for the choice you make. But we invite you that you should be looking for Islam, which has the solution, which has the good and the pleasure that you desire in this life. When you return to Allah and repent to Him and follow His way, this is in itself an earthly paradise. Believe me, remembering Allah, being obedient to Him, following righteousness, submitting yourself to Him, this is an earthly paradise. How much more when Allah will be giving you the good news of entering paradise, and He'll be saying to Him, to each one of those servants, I have prepared for my righteous servants something that their eyes have never seen, that their ears have never heard of, that their hearts have never imagined. And Allah said, for them, in paradise that means, for them is whatever they desire. But with us, there is even something more. Thank you. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us and to help us in this life of test, to pass the test and to be admitted to His utmost, endless, eternal bliss and happiness, and that is paradise. Hoping to see you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.